Hey y'all, I'm Kaila Cherie. I am the owner of the Blueprint University. You are listening to the Blueprint Podcast where we learn about successful entrepreneurs, how to get your business started. So today I am here with the Shepard Twins.
Hey guys.
So we are going to talk a little bit more about their business, get to know them. So tell me a little bit more about yourselves.
Okay, so my name is Shonda Shepard and I own Marble Lux Beauty, a hair extension company that's online and in store.
And I am Shanice, known as Sean, and we are the Shepherd Twins.
So tell me a little bit more about how you guys got started with your business.
So we got started literally from the time we could walk. My mom would literally take us into, the hair shops. And so she made it a religious thing with going to get our press done. And that really like resided with us. Like my mom worked two jobs to get us through school, but she made sure we understood beauty, whether we didn't have enough clothes, but we kept our crowns
Yeah.
always looking beautiful. So that gave us just the ultimate, reason to go into the hair business.
Yeah.
My love for hair started since I was young. My mom always took us to the hair shop. So we used to get our silk presses every 2 weeks. So at that time, it even gradually grew to me loving everything about hair and fashion. And I feel like it goes hand in hand. And for me, having my crown done, it made me feel confident. So I wanted everybody to feel confident about what they had on and what they did to their hair as well. So it really grew to a love and a passion for me.
I love that you guys touched on that because, growing up, you sometimes you don't, a lot of people can't get your hair done, couldn't afford that or whatnot. But your mom instilling that in y'all definitely, helped you
Yes.
ladies become where you are today. So that is amazing. So when was the turn for you both that said, "Hey, I want to make this into a hair business"? Like I know sometimes, the hair thing was popular, back then in the years, and everybody was like, "Oh, I should just get some bundles. It may cost, X amount of dollars. I could just buy bundles." Everybody was selling bundles. What made you guys turn it into a business at that point?
Well, because we're twins, everyone was like, okay, how are they keeping two twins fly like
Yeah.
this? So we were like, you know what? Let's take the money. At the time, my sister was working at Cedar Sinai Medical Center, and I own Intertwine Collection, which is a clothing online. So we were like, okay, let's take a little bit of what we earned and invest into the hair company because this is something that we love. My sister stayed with her hair done, and so with that being said, she started with maybe what $500, and we started small.
Oh.
I always tell people, start small. Sometimes you may think I got to use $1,000, $5,000 to get started, when necessarily that is not the case. Start with what you have, and then work your way up, and to invest more and more into your brand or your business. So we took a lot of that and our $500 and with my business, and really grew Marble Lux to where it is. And we had it online. We started online, and we saw that it was a demand for it. So my sister was like, "Hey, Sean, like we need to open a store." We grew up here in Los Angeles, where we grew up between 67th and 11th Ave, and that between 11th and 10th Ave, that in South Central, you really know that's just like a hard place to grow up in. We grew up in a Nipsey Hustle area, and we knew that we wanted to provide something like that for a lot of our inner city kids.
Right.
So I know I wanted to see that for our community. Why do we have to always go outside of Los Angeles to provide those services for our people
Right.
and that quality?
Yeah, being that we lived in that community, I wanted to be an example for my people, especially being that the area is now becoming a gentrification. I just wanted to be that you know that somebody that looks like me can do it as well.
Right.
Being that I brought bundles, I brought quality as well. I didn't want to say, oh, just let me bring bundles just because I can sell it. No, it's quality at an affordable price, and it's luxury. This is where hair meets luxury. And I was like, okay, let me bring it to the inner city and into my home, and where I know that could be still affordable for people just like me and that look like me.
Right.
Yes.
And so, how did you promote yourself? Like when you started off small and then you grew clientele from there. But what was the thing that stuck? Was it just word of mouth or?
So, to answer that question, what got us out there was social media.
Yeah.
I started from Instagram. Instagram came about, I guess, in 2011 or so. And once I got an Instagram, and I was always kind of known for my fashion because I love dressing as well. I mean, like I said, we always bargain shopped, but I knew how to put it together.
Yeah.
So that it started from there, and me being on Instagram promoting clothes, promoting, and then start doing hair bundles, selling hair bundles. I felt like it was a perfect way for me to show people, like showcase my brand and the product that I had.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
definitely. That is amazing. You guys both look amazing. So
Thank
you
you.
do, yeah. Everything is great. You put it well together, and the hair is on point. Do you do hair as well, or
No,
you
we
just?
do not do hair.
You
And a lot of
just
people say, well, why? How are you guys in the hair business and y'all don't do hair? I'm like,
no.
well, you know what? We know a lot of great, talented people.
Mhm.
And I feel like it was us just connecting the dots with the talented people and putting the people where they need to be. And in Marble Lux, you could come get your makeup done, your hair done, and get your bundles. So, what is a great way to have a one-stop shop?
Yeah.
And we needed that in our community. We're right off of 3819 West Lawson.
Okay.
So literally, that was like putting in the heart of LA, where we can very much like just identify with our community.
Great. So for somebody wanting to start a business like this, like what would you say? What advice would you give them, or what were some of the hard struggles you guys had going into this?
I feel the struggle that I had was to make sure that you always put your business first. And when I say that, don't let personal friendships get in the way of business. I don't know if people can resonate with that, but business and friendship, you can see most of the time it doesn't mix. So at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you're always rooting for your brand, and you making sure your brand is number one, making sure your brand is always have a good review, good name for itself, because your brand is your name.
Yeah.
And if you don't know that, your brand won't be where it needs to be or level where it needs to be at. So I would basically say, really look into doing business and personal, and making sure your business is always number one.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times people start businesses and kind of fall off. And I feel like that was something that is a passion for us to really go ahead and push it forward through. This is not a business that is just a startup and drop in startup, and I know business go through their struggles, and we learned a lot of trial and error through this. This something was not like given to us, nothing that what we even saw growing up. We are first generation graduate students. We are first generation business owners on top of homeowners now. So it's definitely played a part in our life. With providing that services, because that's how we want to live our life also.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of things that we was kind of like, learning the ropes on, it actually molded us for where we are today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys designed the life that you all wanted.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Incredible.
Yes.
Tell her how we just basically, grew up and coming from a third world country.
Yeah. Because you're from Belize,
You're
right?
from Belize,
So
yeah.
how
So
was it?
just seeing how my people, when I say people that where I'm from, Belize, grew up, and going back home, it made me realize, like, being in the United States and getting my citizenship was definitely beneficial for me, because I can set an example. Like, you come from this poor country, it doesn't mean that that dictates where you go. And so, being that we went to college, and I worked at Cedar Sinai for 8 years, and saving my money to actually build up a storefront, brick and mortar. And I was like, man, I needed to do this for me and for my future generation. I mean, I don't have kids right now, but when I do have kids, I want to leave a legacy for them. And also, if I was to have a little girl, I want them to know that we have, a hair salon and good hair quality, and good people to do business with as well.
As for me, I have a daughter. My daughter name is Hermes Penelope. She's 4, and she grew up in the shop the way we grew up in the shop.
Yeah.
Like, literally, she has been there from the time I gave birth.
Yeah.
And my daughter is like my sister daughter also. So she saw, and is currently still seeing, women come in there, and they might not be feeling themselves that day.
Yeah.
And kind of need to feel uplifted. And sometimes with our crowns, it makes us feel who we are, and where, make us feel more confident about ourselves. So I love for her to see those type of things coming in there, have women from all walks of life, and see, you could come in one way and go out another way.
Right.
So that was my major thing in motherhood, and has definitely taught me that.
Yeah. How is it being a mom in business? Because I know I'm a new mom as well. I have a 1 year old, and putting it with business, then putting it first, and then your business trying to grow and still be there and be a part, can be real challenging. How do you do you balance it, or you just kind of take it day by day?
Ooh, you trying to know.
Right.
I think she's still learning.
Still learning. Balance has been the most difficult thing for me as a person, as a mother. Um, and I think it's just not something that someone could just say, here, do it. It doesn't come with a rule book. It honestly goes through the experience in day to day. So you just learn how to give a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then all of it got to come together.
Yeah.
So that's how I, go by day and take it step by step. A lot of times, us as mothers, we put so much pressure on ourselves. Like for me, I didn't lose all the weight that I wanted to right after having a baby, and then pandemic hit. But I show women that it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to some days it's not going to be you're not going to be where you are. So you can continue being beautiful with whatever skin and whatever size you are.
Right.
So.
No, I love that, because it took a lot, like especially when you first have the baby, it's like you put so much pressure on yourself. Absolutely. And then too, you're still trying to, you may have employees you still got to take care of, and it's just a lot on you. But taking it day by day is definitely the step I take as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
So what's I know you guys talked about legacy and building. What's your plans with Marble Lux? Like, where do you see it in the next 5 years? You want to open up more locations? Or?
Well, now we just had, you could tell them how we had the hair. We just did a hair vending machine.
Yeah. Okay.
We would love for that to be in all different locations, different malls around the U.S. We're here based in LA, but a lot of our clientele is East Coast and Midwest. So getting those vending machines in those locations and maybe possibly setting up a brick and mortar will be our absolute goal. But we understand that sometimes it don't have to go that route, but we are online to reach every individual nationwide.
Yeah.
And for me, I feel like my personal goal for Marble Lux Beauty is for it to be worldwide. Although it's e-commerce first, I feel like I haven't reached enough people. So I want to reach everybody. And when I said everyone, India, China, it doesn't matter. I just want to be able to reach so many people, and I feel basically getting my brand out there and letting people know and doing the right marketing I will benefit that from Marble Lux Beauty.
Definitely. Are you guys do you guys have clientele in Belize yet? Where
yes,
you from?
Yes, we do have it, and then everyone always asks us, "Man, you guys need to bring it down here." So I think that's something that Shauna wants to do, especially to where we come from. A lot of times, especially, they like to kind of or people bring the hair from LA to Belize. Why not just bring it there where we're from?
Right, exactly. It's always good to go back to your roots and give back. So.
Exactly.
So, so hair vendors, how was your experience with that? Making sure, you're big on quality. So did you guys get lucky like the first go around, or was it like trial and error?
For us, it was really trial and error, and also scouting all these vendors. You want to make sure that you're sampling all these hair bundles as well. For us, I feel like it took us about probably like 10 vendors to say like, okay, this is the quality that we want. And sometimes you have to go. Some people on their third try, they said this is it, but sometimes it's not always like that. And you have to understand that. You have to put money into it, even saving up money little by little to make sure that the quality control is the best, because you don't want to come back or have a lawsuit or have anybody complain or bad reviews. You want to give the top quality. So making sure your vendor is good, or even visiting your vendor is actually a good thing. I know that I have a lot of friends like Miss Skittles. She used to go to like China and travel with these people to see the vendors and stuff like that. So that's somebody that I really kind of idolize, because she me a chance to actually start a business. So
I really love that too. Like she said, what we did also was put our hair in different stylists' hands.
Okay.
So they were the one that was testing out the product also. Of course, like we said, we don't do hair, but we wanted to know how it was, and we strive on long lasting hair, not some hair you just gonna use and throw away, which
Right.
I know a lot of girls do, but you don't have to do that with us.
Yeah.
You could have bundles that's gonna last you 3 to 4 years. That's where when we started, we honestly started wearing the hair first before we even started, selling the hair because we wanted to make sure the quality is good. I'm not gonna put our name on something because
Yeah.
we want to sell something, make money. No, that's not the case. What we're doing is providing the service, and the customer's gonna come. Once that happens, it's like they know where to come, and word of mouth travels. So even though the social media is heavy, word of mouth and being people pulling up has honestly guided our success. So a couple of things that I feel like we kind of like had a little lost on was just the fact that
No, it's actually what.
the fact that sometimes like our phone where before it got where it was at first it was came out a little like watery and
Yeah, so sampling sometimes can be definitely a trial and error. So with that, you just have to make sure that it's the right fit
yeah
and the right product, because you don't want to get a product and it just sit there on the shelf, or it's not, or people's complaining it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that's why it's okay to be okay to accept criticism, especially when you're an entrepreneur, because how would you know what's the best and what's not good, So for me, it's really like, to piggyback on what you said, is making sure the quality and the product is right for our customer, because our customers are the one that's going to spend their top dollars.
Right.
So
and I feel like our local and our everyday people are our celebrities.
Yeah.
yes.
They are our celebrities.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that are going to shop with us, and a lot of people sometimes feel like starting with a celebrity and now my company is going to go and rock it, but that is not the case. A lot of times our everyday people are our celebrities. And so with all that testing and trial and error, we knew it was time to start a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
And when Shonda picked the location, I was like, perfect. This is good. Like, this is it. This is new. But I didn't realize how much money we had to put into doing a build out.
Yeah.
You sign that lease, but you don't know that lease. They usually, when you sign a lease, they give you like 2 months free because of your build out. But you be like, okay, this 2 months build out, it ain't. I still need time.
Yeah.
So you probably have to sometime call the leasing or the landlord and let them know, well, I need more time. Can y'all probably extend this probably a month? Because it took us about 3 months to actually do a build out for the store, being that I was waiting from products from China, because I got a salon chair or a mirror or some, and some things come on ship. On ships, so you have to go to the ports, and it's a lot of things with that also. So for me, I feel like I was ready for it, but during the process, it made me prepared, because it was a lot of trial and error. I wasn't expecting. I wanted to be open within that 2 months,
Right.
and it wasn't in that 2 months.
Yeah.
So yeah, the brick and mortar definitely taught me a lesson. It taught me how to, make sure that you give yourself time and give yourself grace. Don't try to rush everything. Like it's a process within the journey.
Yes.
I mean, the journey within the process. I'm sorry, and you need to, just sit in it. And sometimes you got to be there. I was times where I was at the shop. It was nothing in there, but I'm looking like, okay, making sure I write down everything that I wanted, everything that I need, everything that the shop needed to have. Even when it came to, okay, make sure, like for instance, I opened the shop, the brick and mortar, and I opened it, and I needed a washer and dryer. I should have got a washer and dryer before I opened instead of getting a washer and dryer after. But I mean, it's trial and error. So it's like, okay, at least having a washer and dryer there, I can wash, the hairstylist can wash your towels. So after they come out of the clients come out of doing a hair wash. So it was certain things that sometimes you don't know until it actually come into fruition. So
Yeah,
No,
for sure.
definitely.
For sure. I feel like with you doing all of that, when we finally did the build out, I was like, like this is actually what we've been wanting to do, and it took some time, but I just felt like with us on one side of the store is suites and the other side is open space. So I know a lot of times people come in there, like I said, that has alopecia. So we give the versatility with, the clients that don't want everyone to see their hair underneath their wigs, and that are very more self-conscious. And the women that are getting their hair, where if men want to come in, that they have that open space, but women still have their privacy to be themselves.
yeah.
So I know a lot of people were moving towards suites. So we gave the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So I feel like doing that with the store, honestly, kind of just everybody loves it.
Yeah.
When you walk in there, they like, we feel like this is luxury and we haven't even got anything done yet.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's good. So I know a lot of people, they want to run a shop. So you guys run a full service shop. You have
Yeah.
stylists in there. How is that? Like, what's some challenges you have with, maybe running the shop with different stylists, or what is, some things that people can expect to go through when they.
I think the first thing that you kind of go through is trusting people, trusting your colleagues, trusting people to do the right thing. When it comes to when if you leave your store, you want to make sure that your store is how you come back, or when you come back, your inventory, being that we have we sell bundles too, you want to make sure that all the bundles are accounted for, it's not missing, or everybody's trustworthy. So I think the first thing is being able to trust people that you work with, and I feel like that's where I kind of have a little struggle because. I want to be able to trust everybody, and it's just like sometimes I'm like, okay, I don't know, like, so you want to be able to have that trust, and you want to be able to move with a clear head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think sometimes when you don't trust your team, it can be very difficult.
Yeah.
I will always tell people, trust your team. Get you a good team, number one. And allow sometimes in your team to have that mistake and error, and then they learn from that. There's a difference when somebody is like doing something at the bowl, or they leave a towel on the floor and it's been there all day. Right. And then you kind of address issues when it's there, so it don't linger. And being upfront with everything. This is what I want. This is what I need you to do. I think a lot of times that taught us not to be quiet or kind of set back on the things that we want and want for the shop, because we are the brand. They're not going to say, hey, well, this person didn't out here. They're going to say, well, Marble Lux is not, they're not doing what they were supposed to do. They're not going to really say that about the independent contractor, the stylist, or anything like that. They're going to look at us as a whole. So us building the team and making sure we secure each other on their end and our end is what makes it work.
Right,
Yeah.
So you always have to protect your image. That's the main thing when it comes to it. And I definitely agree. So are you both like physically working in there every day, or?
No. So I am physically working in there every day. So they get to meet the owner every day.
Okay.
They meet my personality. I'm like more personal with everyone, so when they come in, they feel like it's a sisterhood. They feel like, okay, well, all right, is it the 10% off? Okay, they ask questions that they normally don't ask, like, okay, do you have a discount today? They're not afraid to ask that. And I want to make sure that they have an open space, or if they say, well, can I fill the hair, because some places you can't, especially being a e-commerce space, and you have hair bundles. Having an in-store and being with somebody personally, at least you can show them the texture. You can tell them, well, this is a look that you want, that you can get with this type of texture or whatnot, like that. So I feel for me, making sure my customer service is number one. Like my sister said, I come from corporate America. I worked at Cedars-Sinai for 8 years, and I've always been a personal person. I've always been at the front desk.
Right.
So for me, I've always want to make sure that I cater to the client or the customer. Although in business you'll see the customer is always right. Although they might not be right, but that's in business, it's always the customer's right. Even if you have to say, okay, all right, we gonna correct that situation or that problem or whatnot, or return or exchange, you have to be that person.
Right.
And stand in communication.
Yeah.
We follow up with the customers. We follow up, maybe text message, email, things like that, or give them a call. Sometimes giving them a call and letting them hear your voice, that does wonders.
Yeah.
Because people love having that personality or that face that they could put to a brand.
Yeah.
And so knowing that we honestly care about their review and what they think about the product has been like the ultimate thing for us. So a lot of times our customers are coming back because of that.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that Shauna stays in the business. A lot of times I'm not able to do so because I'm a mom, and so I'm a wife. So it's a little more different for me. So sometimes I take back end of it, and it works because we're twins. And so sometimes people would say, hey, well, I really wouldn't work with my family. I wouldn't really work or be in business with my friend. But I feel like because we are twins, she relates, and where I lack she pick up, and where she lacks I pick up, or and vice versa. So a lot of times with you just being there and she like, we might not disagree and we might disagree to agree.
Yeah.
So that honestly, we can't just like, we might hang up one day and say, hey, like, man, and talking mess.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
have to call her back in 5 minutes because at the end of the day, business comes first,
Yeah.
Yes.
not emotion and not feelings. And we may address that later on, but the business is always our first priority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me to piggyback off what my sister said,
Mhm.
I love doing business with my sister. It works because we are twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, she understands. I might be mad that moment, but I'm gonna call you right back. Sometimes in friendships they don't know the real you, so it's just kind of like
Yeah.
she understands. Okay, she mad right now. I'm gonna call her back. Okay,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
So it's totally different. So for me, I feel like my sister, she's my person when I'm on vacation. She's my coverage.
Mhm.
She's my my right hand man. So it really works because we really talk every day,
Yeah.
and we talk every day about business, personal, kids, our man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it really works for us, and I love the fact that I can work with my twin sister because she understands me.
Yes.
Yeah, and then really putting God into it.
Yeah.
My sister, honey, this one praying like literally go around praying her business, literally on a chair praying like we have like 2 spots that's open right now,
Mhm.
but pray over that chair, pray over what you want, and be
Yeah.
intentional about what you're praying about. You know, this is not possible without God.
None of
That's
it.
number one.
Yeah.
So and really taking the ego out of it. Some
Yeah.
people, put the ego in it, and when they're in business with people, it's so much ego that no one sees the goal.
Mhm.
So the goal is that we trying to create something even bigger and better for ourselves and generational. So that all that ego and all that how we may feel that go out the window because it's my sister.
Yeah.
Nobody has my back like this one.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day,
Right, thank you.
at the end of the day, I definitely feel the need to just be communicated.
Yeah.
Be always communicating with her and not,
Communic-
having a chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Just letting my guards down, and that's where we want it to be at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Communication is the key.
Yeah.
That is great. You guys are both in line with each other so well. I love that. Like, it's like, like you said, you guys both play important roles.
Yeah.
So you cover customer service, you take the back end, and it just all aligns. And that's one key thing that's really important when you go into partnerships because a lot of people don't know their roles and they don't know exactly what their job is. But if you
Yeah.
guys keep those separate and everybody stays in their lane and then you guys just piggyback off each other when time is needed, that is how you be successful in partnerships. I mean, I have done partnerships before and they didn't go two in line because you didn't have that. So, sometimes what you guys have is wonderful. Keep at it, stay connected, keep that mentality, that attitude together because that's a beautiful thing nobody gets. Like nobody has, really.
Okay.
You
I'm
know?
so lucky to have you.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it a unique all experience
Situation.
for us.
Yeah.
And that just keeps your customer base coming too because it's all genuine and it's, you're caring for the customer. You guys providing that confidence. So that is very good. So, as a woman, we carry a lot of roles. We carry a lot of different roles. We have a lot of responsibilities, everything on our plate. So how is it, being a wife, a mother, a daughter, siblings? Like how do you juggle it all? What's some of your strong points or key points that you guys could give out to people?
Well, my strong points will be balancing.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing that since I was young. I always get on my sister about that because she don't know how to balance the time between marriage life, baby, and I mean she's still learning. But for me, it's always been balanced. I always stick to what's important, and I understand. I know when you get in a relationship, that person is important too. But I want to make sure sometimes you have to understand that completing your goal and having your goal is you need to make sure that you meet that. And for me, he's gonna always understand because he is an entrepreneur as well. Like he understands my role. Like he don't have me 100% of the time, just like vice versa. So for us, it really works because he has three, jobs, and I have three jobs, and so stuff like that. It really works for us because we're able to find balance after we finish work. We come home and it's us time, So we leave whatever we have to do at home. I mean, at work, and then we focus on us.
Like she said, the balance has always been my number one thing. But being able to, because we're open 6 days a week, and online never shuts off. It's
Yeah.
just like it's consistent 24/7. You know, so it's giving myself, like she said, when it's time. A lot of people clock off at 6. It's still work time, but I give myself at least 2 hours after work just to work, and then the rest of it I get dedicate to my family. I have to put boundaries. I think a lot of times we don't set boundaries, and we have
Yeah.
to set boundaries whether it's friends, family, your man,
Yeah.
you know, setting those boundaries to accomplish the goal at the end of the day. Because without those boundaries, everything is chaos.
Yeah.
You're not focused. Everything's not going right. You don't understand why your money keeps being low. You don't understand why things aren't, excelling, because there's no boundaries and there's no no type of balance.
No
So
structure. So prioritizing is
yes,
one key thing that we all have to do, and that changes daily.
yes,
But and also having a supportive partner so that you
Yeah.
understand
Yeah.
that's amazing. That's hard to come by too.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you're blessed in that aspect.
yeah. And it's been
Have
good
it.
too, because too our dad died last year
I'm sorry to
from
hear
COVID.
that. I
Thank
am
you
so
so
sorry.
much. And it's been and maybe too with her as my business partner, it definitely helped me. I don't even want to cry, but I took it very hard, and I didn't know how that would have been if I was with someone else as a business partner. But I asked her the other day. I said, "How are you dealing with Daddy's death?" Because for me, my dad was always. I live in the valley, and my dad was always at my house. So she handles it totally different than I handle it. Like she like, okay, I got it, but I'm gonna push through. A lot of times I was in the house because I was just sad and depressed and going through grief.
Yeah.
And having her literally was like a breath of fresh air, because she just knew what to do, how to do it, and the business didn't stop.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you go through a lot of those, your business completely stops.
Mhm.
And people like, where you at? What you doing? Like, you ain't doing no more? And it's like, no. She was like, no, Sean, you get up and you come in every day. That's how you gonna start. Come in every day. Get yourself dressed, do your hair, put on your makeup, and get up and come on. So that was like a biggest thing for us. So
Yeah.
thank you, sister.
Absolutely. And she knew too, like
Yeah.
he wants you guys to keep living in your element, and he's
Yes.
still watching
Yes.
over you.
Yeah.
So that is,
Yeah.
it's a blessing.
Thank
I'm glad you're getting through it. I know grief is tough and
Yeah.
it's a long process, but
Yeah.
just keep going, take it day by day. Life is day by day. Life gonna come at us no matter what happens, but we just gotta keep taking it.
Yeah. Thank you.
So going forward, like what's a blueprint that you guys have for your business? What is it that makes you successful? Going every day. Like, what would you tell somebody? Hey, this is what you need to. This is where you need to start off in this industry. This is where you're going to be successful at. Or like, what's 5 key points that would make them successful in this industry?
For me, I would let people know, don't quit your job just because
Got off on a dream.
you want to start off on a dream. You have to build ways and do steps and prioritize things before you actually go into your passion.
Yeah.
Like for instance, I was working at Cedar Sinai Hospital for 8 years until I decided to actually walk away from my job. I was tucking money every time I got paid. I would make sure I put a little bit, to the side so I could get to where I'm going. So don't completely stop your for sure for something that you don't know that's quite there yet. You know what I'm saying? So for me, don't listen to what people saying. Go ahead and quit your job. Yeah, because these bills gonna come around every month, and what's gonna happen? And so my thing is, doing a little at a time and doing a little bit of steps at a time will get you to where you need to be. And your side hustle, until your side hustle could be your main hustle, your main hustle gonna tell you when you need to stop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that would be my best advice to anybody that is going into the walk of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I took a leap of faith. We also own Intertwine Collection, and I took a leap of faith. Believe it or not, my husband didn't even believe in my dreams. He was like, "No, this is not gonna make any money. This is and it's a clothing business." He's like, "It's fast fashion. It's something out every day." I'm like, "I know what I'm doing."
Yeah.
So honestly, with all that being said, that pushed me. Sometimes make the unbelievers believers.
Yeah.
So that made me really push. And a lot of times, don't forget to be hungry.
Yeah.
Like you could be up on one day and on the bottom the next.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, be hungry, be always be intentional, always remember to keep on going, and always stay on trend. Like the best thing I could give them is stay active in your business. Just because it might be making 6 figures, 7 figures, or somewhere where you're
Don't
comfortable,
walk away.
don't just walk away and think that it's gonna run on its own, baby. You have to be there.
Yeah.
You have to put your foot in it. You have to really work and keep that going. So I always tell people to just stay in it and stay intertwined with it, and that's the mark of it, intertwined. So yeah.
I love that. And just to touch back on what you said about what did you touch on the about the financial aspect of it? Definitely don't quit your job if you are like that's one key aspect because I started entrepreneurship at 19 and I ended up having to go back into the work field just to pay my employees because I started off went too fast and then now I still have paychecks to cut and I don't have no money so I can't pay my bills but I still got to make sure my employees are paid so that the company runs. So definitely make sure you have enough saved up and always have key aspects and now of course we have access to like business funding and all that now so take advantage of that but also have a plan behind it and take action with it. So
I didn't have any of that in the beginning. Like I wish I would have knew more about grants when I started out. I just kept reinvesting, and when I started with the clothing, I was reinvesting, and some of the stuff would sit on the shelves, and I didn't know how to like do a wholesale or warehouse sale and things like that. Like I was still struggling with a lot of those things, and some things I still kind of struggle with now. And it's all trial and error. Like this, it has been trial and error with that company, but because of what I went through with Intertwine, it kind of prepared me for Marble Lux. So Marble Lux, honestly, I was just like, hey, like this is where I want to be with my sister. I still love the clothing, like hand to hand, hair and clothes, and making a woman feel themselves. But the downfalls in my other business has actually molded me where I want to be in this business.
Yeah, I definitely love you touched on that as well, especially like you said, having all the inventory because a lot of entrepreneurs think that, hey, I got to have $50,000 of inventory out. And that's not the case. You don't even want to start that way because you don't have the client base yet. So start off small. Like you say, you start off with $500, start off, some bundles at a time and then sell those and just keep working your way up. It's a journey. You're not going to be a millionaire overnight. It's not something that happens, some people do get lucky overnight, but that's not the journey everybody's that's going to have and realistically. So it's important that, everybody knows that definitely. Start off small, just keep going and trust the process. As long as you stay hungry and trust the process.
Because you don't know who's
watching.
Who's watching at all. Yeah. So
It's definitely amazing. But thank you, ladies, so much for coming on
for
today.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Yes.